I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature.
I hate him.
Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, I'm in mid-stream. Hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feeling we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say,
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just sold Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit
of ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Yes, folks. Welcome in the self-proclaimed best in the podcast game. Keyword, self-proclaimed. Always remember that. No one else says this shit except us. Just throwing it out there.
You're the only one who says it. But okay.
the fact that you don't even have confidence in us says a lot about this show right now. That's messed up. That's
I have confidence in it. I just don't claim to be the best. I look for data, statistics, real life stuff.
Nah, it's all how you feel in today's world, remember? It's all about your feelings.
Oh, well, I feel like
feel like we're the best and the most entertaining. So if you are watching, call your ass better call someone. Tell them to tune in, like, follow, do all that stuff. But if you haven't tuned in before, I am Casey, the Remix Schedule. The bald and the beautiful on the screen above me is the old man, the Pops, the man who helped create a legend, Eddie, the original Schedule. And I'm excited about tonight. We got a guest on tonight, Kenny Smith. He's going to join us here in a second. Not Kenny the Jet Smith. I want to make that clear. It is not Kenny the Jet Smith from inside the NBA.
Kenny the Jet Rodriguez. I don't think it was Smith. I think it was Rodriguez.
So he is from the In the Locker Room podcast. So let's go ahead and bring him on the stage. Let's put the guest of honor in the center of the screen for you. Kenny, man, how you doing? Welcome.
Bro, man, I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on. I was so excited. And to be honest, the Jet Smith, I've actually had, when I first did the podcast, I actually had some people thought I was Kenny the Jet Smith. I'm not lying. I mean, I physically had to tell people, it's like, I promise this is not me. As much as I would love it to be, that is not me. So unfortunately, you have to settle for me. So, but it's great to be on, guys. I appreciate it.
I noticed the underlying. Did you notice I mentioned two football teams, the Jets, and I'm not lying. So he mentioned the Jets and the Lions. He didn't work his team in there, but he did mention the Jets and the Lions.
And not yet, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a second. But so Kenny, you said you watched the show, which I would hope you would if you were coming on a podcast. You know what you're getting into. We like to start the show with a joke.
All right.
And the old man tells his corny ass jokes all the time.
All right.
He hasn't gotten me to laugh in, a year and a half of doing this. He's got me to last week. He had an original that did make me smile.
All right.
He might be getting better. So, and our number one fan loves this. She was like, "Y'all should try being funnier," and I was like, "Ouch." So this is our attempt to appease our number one fan from day one.
All right.
So go ahead and hit us with the joke, old man.
Well, I was doing some research. Did you know that Lance isn't that common a name these days? But in medieval time, kids were called Lancelot. Lancelot. There you go.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Okay.
Like
See, he has to like, you can't see his other hand because he's pinching himself to try and not laugh. That's what he's trying to do. So.
No, that is not what I'm trying to do. That was as bad as always. So, sorry, folks. This is why we're not professional comedians. All right. Well, let me give y'all the rundown as we get to the show. We're going to switch up the order a bit since we got Kenny with us. We're going to start with our NFL roundabout. Get lost in the NFL. Y'all got roundabouts in Atlanta, Kenny?
We have more and more of them, and I hate every single one of them.
Well, did you ever find yourself just going in circles at times?
Yeah, in more ways than one.
Okay, so the folks know what I'm talking about with the NFL roundabout and getting lost in it. So after that, we're going to talk a little Cowboys Raiders. We're going to see what people in Georgia think about the Cowboys. I'm interested to see what the take from Hotlanta is there. And the college football rankings are out. We obviously know who Kenny is cheering for tonight. He is no shame in his game, repping that Georgia Tech.
We're talking about that. I think they're getting robbed in the rankings, but we'll talk about that.
I'll talk about what I actually was happy about the first week the rankings came out, and unfortunately, it was directed at your Georgia Tech. Bulldogs. So, is it Bulldogs? Am I
No,
going crazy?
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. Oh, Georgia's Bulldog.
That's like blasphemy in Georgia, isn't it? You just called.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't click off the
Bulldog.
screen and said, "Screw y'all, I'm out of here."
You know,
All right. And after that, we got a little Dallas Stars talk, picks with Pops. Just a little heads up. Someone didn't do very well last week, and it wasn't me. So,
yeah, well, I kind of figured that it was a bad week.
Then we got making the most of your moment. I told you don't ever pick against Josh Allen. That's what I told you. And then we got our tidbits, randoms, and our whiskey of the week. So if you're watching the show and never watched before, I have a whiskey in this canter. All right. If you guess the whiskey in the canter, and then you obviously DM me on Facebook or Twitter or X or TikTok, wherever you find this, if you guess the whiskey on your first try, I will personally buy you a bottle of that whiskey and send it to you. So that is my challenge. No one has guessed it yet. And, we'll see what's going on there. But hopefully feel free to comment throughout the show. Once we start getting some comments coming through, we'll throw them up on the screen here. But let's go ahead and start with the NFL. And, Kenny, you are a Falcons fan.
Yes, sir.
What in the petunias are going on with the Atlanta Falcons, man?
Unfortunately, it just went from bad to worse this afternoon. Michael Penix is out for the season because he, of course, got a second opinion on the knee injury, and it is confirmed, and he is going to have surgery. The talk is, how long is he going to be out for? They've said 6 months. If it's a full reconstruction, maybe 9 months. And then Drake London is not playing this week. I'm hoping from a little magic from Kirko from last season before the little injury bug had hit him. But I think with Kirk Cousins starting, we are going to find out, in my opinion, is it the play calling or is it the actual quarterback? I've several times on the podcast, I've discussed, the play calling is so vanilla. I'm a homer. I love my Atlanta teams, but at the same time, I'm a realist. I know that you have to realize when things are going bad. I'm not gonna put smoke over something that's maybe I pretend it's not there. But, I know the Falcons are not playing well. I know, their play calling is vanilla. They, the defense, as well as they've been playing, can only do so much because, they're always on the field because the offense can't do anything. The offense is slowly but surely deteriorating. And I think that we're about to find out if it's actually the play calling or if it's the quarterback, because I don't know if Kirk Cousins can save the season, but the talks are, at least around these parts, a lot of people want Morris to go. They want offensive coordinator. A lot of people are just losing their minds. So that's kind of the vibe around Atlanta right now.
Well, I would expect them to start losing their minds. It's dropped 5 straight.
Yeah.
Pops, did you have something? I thought I heard you about to chime in.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the good thing is for them to get right, they're playing a team that they should be able to at least do a little something with, because when you're talking about vanilla play caller, that's kind of what I see Keelan Moore and the Saints, one of those. So
his name is Kellen Moore, not Kalen Moore.
I can call him whatever. I can't stand the guy. I think
I don't understand why you don't like Kellen Moore. He led the Cowboys to the #1 offense like multiple years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he shouldn't be a coach. He's too young.
Oh, so Sean McVay shouldn't have been a coach at like 32 years old and he won a Super Bowl?
Sean McVay was a lot better than Moore.
I'm not saying he's not, but don't be being ageist over here, discriminating anyone under 50 years old.
I'm just telling you that Moore was not ready to be a head coach. He's been pushed, and now look at his season. The proof is in the pudding.
Look at
They
his
won 2
team.
games.
His team is god awful. Spencer Rattler's your best quarterback. Matter of fact, Kellen Moore's the best quarterback on their team.
They're a dumpster
Maybe
fire.
he should suit up.
He probably should, honestly. But so you mentioned coaching or the quarterback, Kenny. Let's get back to the Falcons here. Are you a believer in Penix?
I was at the beginning of the season. I'm very torn because last year he started 3 games, but they had a different play caller. I'm a believer in Penix, but I just believe that it's the play calling is not winning him any favors. I know the dude's got a great arm. I know that he's a very, very intelligent guy. But I'm of the opinion that just because you pick a guy in the first round doesn't mean necessarily that you have to start him. I mean, you already paid Kirk Cousins, $300 million to be your quarterback. And I'm like, why couldn't we have just rode with that train? But I'm a believer in Penix. But I think now that he's out, he's going to have a lot of pressure to perform extremely well next year. Depending on when he comes back from injury, depending on just how well he recovers. There's a lot because he's going to have to ball out next year, because then the Falcons have to make a decision. In year 4, are you going to give him the next year option, or are the Falcons going to move on, depending on who's the coach, who's the general manager? I think a lot is going on right now in Atlanta, but I'm a firm believer in Michael Penix. I believe that the guy's got the talent. I honestly think that it's the play calling that's really holding him back.
So here's my worry, and this was my worry about him coming out of the draft. He was obviously an older rookie, spending so many years in college, but this would be his 3rd ACL tear. Mm-hmm. And not to mention a fracture right clavicle, a dislocated left shoulder, and not only it's partially torn ACL right now, bone bruise and it's sprained is the entire listing I'm seeing here. That would be my biggest concern, is his health and his long-term viability of attaching your franchise. Has that been a talk on around the Atlanta area?
Oh yeah, some radio stations, some different podcasts around the area, especially with this. But unfortunately, it's his other knee. It's not the same knee that he hurt in college, but there are a lot of concerns about him and his injury, just being injury prone, and is he going to be able to stay healthy? They compared him to Joe Burrow. As good as Joe Burrow is, he's granted they gave him the bag, and then that's when the injuries started happening. There is a huge concern of, is he going to be able to stay healthy? The franchise is in dire straits right now. I'm going to be very honest. I wish that they would have stuck with Kirk Cousins, because they're built to win now. It's not a very popular opinion.
Y'all got arguably the best running back in the game.
Exactly. And granted, we've had a few injuries on the offensive line, but still, you have to do the next man up. The next man up has to do the job. And they haven't been doing terrible, but but it's all boiling down to that, as we discussed earlier, that vanilla play calling. But yeah, there is a little bit of concern depending on if he's going to be ready for training camp. Is he, depending on who the coach is next year, they may not even want him there. You paid Kirk Cousins all this money, so there's a lot of nervousness. I guess that's a good word. A lot of people are nervous about the future of Michael Penix.
Fair enough. So the old man mentioned Bijan. I think he might be the best football player in the league. There's one guy on your offense that I think we all agree is probably heavily underachieved in his career to this point, and he's super talented. Do you think it's play calling, or do you just think he has the talent, but he doesn't have the makeup? And I'm talking about Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Fortunately for the Falcons, they've had several play callers the past few years. And when he first came out of Florida, everybody was excited because he's just a matchup nightmare. He's 6'5", he can reach to the sky, can run, but unfortunately, due to whether it's the play callers not knowing how to use him, I saw Kyle Pitts come to life last year when Kirk Cousins was quarterback. And, of course, you had a different play caller. I think Kyle Pitts' skill set is very unique. He's built like a wide receiver, but yet he plays the tight end position. I think if used correctly, the guy can be a matchup nightmare, but I just don't think the Falcons know how to use him. I mean, you put him on, I don't know, the Patriots, or you put him on, heck, like even the Cowboys who love to throw the ball down the field. He's a matchup nightmare, but unfortunately, the Falcons just, there were rumors that he was being lazy in his routes. There were rumors that he just didn't care. But I'm like, that's hard to assume unless you're there on the field. But I like him. I like what he can do. I wish he was a better blocker. But that's why they got a couple other tight ends to basically block. But I don't know if I would sign a new contract. I don't know. He's going to have to ball out. He's going to have to ball out the rest of the year. So,
I got you. All right. I will say the throwback jerseys with the red helmets,
yes,
the Falcons are now in my top 10. I really like those. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, those are great. I think it's the last time we won a game too when we wore those jerseys.
So yeah, I think it was a promising start for Atlanta. I mean, wins over the Bills, the Vikings, and the Bills one was probably the most impressive to me, and so it's obviously been a little bit of a free fall. Penix has been a part of that these last 5 weeks, so it'll be interesting to see, as you pointed out, what Kirk Cousins does as the starter, the most expensive backup quarterback of all time. Well, he's not the most expensive behind someone. Deshaun Watson, I think, takes that crown. In Cleveland. So you've been watching the NFL season. Who do you think are the major contenders for the championship? Give me one AFC favorite for you and one NFC favorite for you.
Right now, if I had to pick right now, I'll start with AFC first. If I had to pick somebody right now, I would, and this might be a hot take, I would still have to pick the Colts. I really like what they're doing. I like that Jonathan Taylor's healthy. I see the revival of Daniel Jones. I've always been a Daniel Jones fan. I never liked the Giants, but I liked him. But I thought him being with the Giants was never going to be good for him. But so far, if I had to pick right now, it'd probably be the Colts. And with the addition of Sauce Gardner, I think that'll shore up that secondary. In the NFC, to me, that's a tougher one because there are several teams that show that can be beat. But if I had to pick somebody right now, because I like the Lions and I like the Eagles. But and I know this is going to be boring, but I really still like what the Eagles are doing. To me, there's not really one that stands out. It's hard. I'm torn between I guess the Lions, the Eagles, and I actually like. I know it's going to take a lot, but I like what the Cowboys are doing with all the moves that they made. They're shoring up their defense. I think that they could be a dark horse if they continue to surge because let's be honest, they're probably the best offense in the NFC. If you can,
are you sure you're not just sucking up to us?
No. I'm being completely honest. No, I'm being honest. But no, I really like what the Cowboys do. I like their offense. I like Javonte Williams. I think that was a great pickup for Dallas because they need a running game. And
yeah, absolutely. What do you think of the Bucks?
They're being so injury prone. Mike Evans is out for the year. You have Godwin has been out, but you can't count them out because of Baker Mayfield. I just don't know if they're strong enough right now to make a run. I like Egbuka.
Well, I would say there's another team that's not getting a whole lot of love, and that is, and they should be, is the Rams. The Rams are playing, Stafford is playing like an MVP in my mind, the way he's been playing the last few games, or this season actually.
Yeah, I think the Rams have the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league as well. It's them in Houston. The reason I asked about the Bucks is because, hey, old man, what happened last weekend to the Bucks? Who did they lose to?
Here we go with his Josh Allen man love, his man crush. He has his man crush on Josh Allen.
Was it the Bills? My bad. I didn't know it was the Bills. How many touchdowns did Josh Allen have?
Does it matter?
I think it was 6. Man, he must be a terrible player like you try to claim all the time. I don't.
Right now, what is the Bills' record? The Bills are 7-3.
Yeah. Oh, you thought they were worse, didn't you? Because you're always hating on them. So, anyways, I just wanted to point that out.
I don't like. And it's not that I don't like Josh Allen. Josh Allen is one of those quarterbacks, just like Lamar Jackson, is that they're going to be great during the regular season. They're going to take you a little ways into the playoffs, and then they're going to throw their fans off the cliff because he's not going to finish the job. And until Josh Allen does that, he ain't getting no love from me. I would trust Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen.
Yeah, because Baker Mayfield's got farther than Josh Allen in the playoffs. Oh, wait, he hasn't.
Baker Mayfield is making it happen less.
No, he's not going to make it happen. And we've had this debate many times on the show. So, Kenny, here's my thing.
All right.
He makes this argument about take him to the edge. You say that about every quarterback in the AFC that isn't named Patrick Mahomes because they have to play Patrick Mahomes. Not. So,
but who has gone further than Patrick Mahomes?
Nobody.
In the last few years.
Nobody.
Well, there you go. You just made my point.
No, I didn't make your point. I made the point is you can't use that argument that he's going to take them here and they're just going to fall off the cliff and all this stuff. And you tried to say he wasn't the MVP last year.
Cliff. The name of that cliff is called the Kansas City Chiefs because he can't
It's
get the playoff.
I can tell you it's not Kansas City anymore. They are not back. They have fallen off. We'll get into that here in a minute. But I do want to, speaking of a team going down in flames, what's up with your Chargers, man?
Chargers got some issues, and the coach tried to send a message this game. I don't know if you saw that, but he pulled all his starters and put them on the bench. Said if y'all are going to play by backups or second string, then you're going to be second string. He's trying to send a message to his team because the inconsistency is pretty telling. I mean, the Jaguars are not that bad. Obviously, I've picked them quite a few times and think they're a pretty good team, but to get beat 35-6 with the players the Chargers have, that was embarrassing, and that's what the coach basically said, and that's why he benched everybody in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, which I wish more coaches would hold players accountable like that. Kenny, what's your impressions of the Chargers and the new Harbaugh era and Justin Herbert and that crew?
I love Herbert. I love what he brings, but sometimes when it comes out of the playoffs, it seems like they're just soft. They can't. They're always right there, but they can never get to the next level. But they have to be able to run the football. I mean, the fact that this past week that their quarterback was the leading rusher, that against a decent boom or bust Jacksonville team. But I've always liked them. They've always been kind of low key. I've always liked the toughness that was brought when he arrived, and I thought there was going to be a difference. But they just got to run the football better. I mean, it's a shame because of the talent that they have. They have talent all over the place, but yet you can't run the football, and you got annihilated by Jacksonville. I mean, they're not a bad team, but come on.
Yeah, Jacksonville, I think, is the epitome of a schizophrenic team. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Losing Travis Hunter, that experiment, I think they need to make a decision on what side of the ball he needs to be on.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I just think this game is, and he doesn't, if he had the body of like DK Metcalf or something, I might be a little more inclined. But so this is what I want to do. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break real quick. We're going to come back and continue our NFL conversation. We're going to cover the Eagles, the Texans, and the Chiefs, and Shedeur Sanders, and then we'll move into the Cowboys. So let's hear from our sponsor, easyleadership.com.
Parents, help your student find their true path with the Berkman Career Assessment. Imagine if you had discovered your true passion right after high school. How much further along would you be in a fulfilling life? Now picture giving that gift to your student. The Berkman Career Assessment is designed to uncover the career paths that align with your student's unique personality, interests, and needs. Don't let them wander through years of uncertainty. Equip them with clarity and confidence to pursue a future where they thrive. Act now. Invest in their purpose with Berkman today at easyleadership.com or email us for a free career checkup.
All right. easyleadership.com. Check it out. It's less than $150 to give your kid a career choice that matches their personality.
Nice.
All right. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're running away with the NFC East. There's very few teams and fan bases I loathe more than the Philadelphia Eagles. Being a Dallas Cowboys fan, I don't know how y'all feel in Atlanta, but Philly to me is just blah. And but somehow, some way, it reminds me of the Chiefs last year, just scraping by every game.
Yeah.
And the old man's probably going to say, all that matters if you win. Well, I think eventually that's going to catch up to them because to me, it's just they haven't been able to figure it out. Y'all can take Kenny, what's your impressions of the Eagles and how they're winning? And do you think it's fixable? You got AJ Brown out here saying, if you got me in fantasy, trade me. I ain't gonna help you. He's never happy. The original over here compared him to Terrell Owens from the early 2000s. I didn't know if he was that bad, but it may continue in that direction. So that may be a good call by the old man. What's your impressions of the Eagles?
Around here, they are known as Georgia University because there are a ton of players on the defensive side. So you have a lot of fans of the Eagles that are around here just because of the defensive line. But my take is, I'll start with AJ Brown, I guess. I like the receiver AJ Brown. He's a big body receiver, big, strong, fast. But to me, the Eagles have never been a passing team. Everything starts with Saquon. Whether we like it or not, we're always going to get 25 to 30 carries of big doses of Saquon. I love their defense, especially at home. I was very surprised in the game against the Lions of how they were just able to shut the Lions down. It was basically the Jahmyr Gibbs show, but that was it. I like the Eagles' defense. I think that I love their front four if they just stay disciplined, but I'm just not convinced that the Eagles are going to represent the NFC. Unless they can throw the football, I have a hard time believing that they're going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's, it's funny because I think after their very first game this year against the Cowboys, which they won also, there were questions about the Eagles. I mean, I think more people were excited about the Cowboys than we were because we thought it was going to be a crappy season, which has kind of turned out to be. But they continue to win. But I agree with you. The running game has to improve the rest of the season. I think it's going to take one of these teams, if they beat them, as long as you're winning, all these dysfunctional things are just noise. But if you lose or you start losing, then that dysfunctional stuff rises to the top, and then it's going to cause them to derail.
Yeah.
But I think as long as they're winning, they're going to continue down that path. But the running game right now it's weird with Barkley because kind of with the Giants, one year he would be just tearing it up, and then the next year he's just off. And I don't know, and plus they just lost their right tackle for quite a few games. So it's going to be an interesting game when they go to Dallas this week. So.
Yeah, I think it's got to catch up to them at some point. The lack of offensive firepower, and they've showed glimpses, so they're capable. Obviously, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. I think the loss of Lane Johnson, the right tackle, is big that y'all pointed out, and it's going to be a different game for the Cowboys, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But I'm just wondering if Dak Prescott's going to try to bait Jalen Carter again to spit on him and see if we can get him out of the game before the first snap again. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles saga unfolds. Most people, if you remember, a few years ago, they had a complete collapse before last year. Saquon, and the Saquon thing is really an interesting kind of it's very weird. He's averaging 2 yards less a carry and almost half of what he averaged a game. last year, and it begs the question. You know, he had 480 touches, I think, last year through the Super Bowl. That load in today's NFL is just massive. That'd be a huge burden to carry for any era, honestly. But 480 touches, I mean, that's so many, and I'm interested to see what they do. So we do live in the Houston area, Kenny. So we do talk a little Texans.
All right.
The Texans scraped by the Chiefs by a field goal, or I'm sorry, the Titans by a field goal. Very schizophrenic themselves, got a backup quarterback. I don't know how much you pay attention to the Texans, but they have a really great defense. Offense is a little bit suspect. Any outlandish opinions on the Houston Texans other than they're probably never winning a Super Bowl?
I mean, I love Nico Collins. I love what he can do. It's a shame that I thought that they were playing pretty well, but the running game has been very suspect. The passing game hasn't. To me, Dalton Schultz was a great pickup for you guys. I love Dalton Schultz. I think he's a game changer. I love their defense. I love the coaching staff. I think that I thought, honestly, with Nick Chubb, I thought that maybe you can have a little bit of a revival, but apparently it just hasn't happened. But I like the feel of the team. I've never been a fan of Mills. I think he's a good backup, but I love your defense. I think that y'all's defense keeps you in about every game. I mean, you can always tell. To me, it kind of has the feel of the Falcons a little bit, except you guys have a better defense, and you guys can actually stop people every once in a while. But overall, they're a good team. They're not a great team, but I think that they have a good future. I think what really hurt them was the Deshaun Watson thing, like a few years ago. I know for some people that's kind of a sore area, but I like the direction that they're going. I love the coaching staff. I love what they bring. I love their offense. Just need to be a little more consistent with the running game. But I think you guys are not far off, though.
All right. So I wanted to get an interesting viewpoint on an outsider's take on the Texans. So the old man is married to a true Texans fan. It is hilarious every Sunday, a house divided that they got going on. But do you agree with his assessment of the Texans, Pops?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the problem with the Texans is inconsistency, and it continues, if I can talk, continues no matter what's going on. I mean, when Stroud came in his rookie season, was probably the best season they've had in a long time. The coaching staff, I'm not totally sold that they still need to keep that in place right now, but they need to figure out to be consistent. That's, to me, that's the teams that win are the ones who are able to stay consistent through change, and they're just one of those teams that when certain things happen, certain people get injured or whatever, they're not able to stay consistent. And sometimes even when no one's injured, they're not able to stay consistent. But I think a lot of it has to do with that offensive line that they have. It needs some work. They've had some injuries. But we'll have to see if D'Amico Ryans figures this thing out going into next year. They're obviously not going to do anything this year. But it's just inconsistency overall as an organization. They just can't seem to keep it going. I guess.
Yeah. I know you have your feelings about D'Amico Ryans. I think D'Amico is a good coach. I think he needs to make a change as the offensive coordinator. You know, Kenny, you've been talking about Atlanta and their play calling. The Texans ain't doing their favor in that department either, or doing themselves any favors in that department. So I think the Texans do need to make some changes offensively. And this year we said C.J. Stroud was a prove it year.
Yeah.
And he really has improved it. He's obviously dealing with a concussion. He's going to be out. I think they actually play tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. So he's out again this week. David Mills will be in there. And if he goes in there and plays good, I think you start asking, is there a quarterback controversy? But speaking of quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders is starting for the Cleveland Browns. The man finally gets his chance.
I love it.
Kenny Smith just said he loves it. Why do you love it?
I think that Shedeur Sanders is one of those polarizing figures, just because of who his dad was, and I think that maybe being drafted so low was probably a good thing for him, and now he's finally getting his opportunity. Granted, it's with the quarterback killing team in the Browns, but now is his opportunity to prove, hey, I belong here. A lot of things had to happen for him to start, and it did. So I'm like, you know what? Give the kid a chance. The Browns have nothing to lose at this point. Absolutely nothing. And I think Shedeur, the dude just needs to focus. If he can stay focused and just locked in and just don't worry about the outside distractions, I think the dude has all the skills to be able to be a really, I don't know, a great quarterback, but I think he can be a serviceable quarterback that can win you some ball games. So I'm excited to see how that's going to play out. You know.
So you mentioned drafted low. Do you think he should have been drafted higher?
No. I think with talent wise, maybe, but I think a lot of teams were scared of things he may or may not have said, or just because of feeling like that, well, maybe he was given a lot of opportunity just because of his dad. But I mean, you can't control certain things. And the fact that he played on Colorado, okay, he didn't have a good offensive line, but I think a lot of it had to do with the polarizing thing. I think he has great arm talent. He's not used to playing with a good offensive line, so it probably wouldn't be that bad of a thing for him. But I think the dude has a lot to prove, and I think this is his opportunity to prove people wrong. If he can have a good game, maybe a couple games or two, but let's be honest, it is the Browns. So they could say, oh, well, you played great. Okay, now we're going to try somebody else. But I'm excited for this opportunity. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the gift. His mind just has to stay in the game.
I got you. I didn't see him above a 5th round pick, and I said that before the draft. So this isn't revisionist history on my part. There is tape on it that I did say that. So and a lot of people said I was crazy. And I know the old man over there, he wasn't a big believer in Shedeur. I think he has some accuracy. I don't think his arm talent is elite, and he's not a great athlete.
Yeah.
And I really do think it's a joke that his number is retired at Colorado. But
yeah, that is a joke.
Shedeur gets his chance. Old man, does it entice you to watch the Cleveland Browns this upcoming weekend?
Well, they're playing the Raiders, so I'm not sure if that entices me a whole lot. But it was funny because someone made the comment, "Oh, you're being racist about Shedeur Sanders." Well, no, I was never, because I was always down on it too. Because I look at when you get 32 teams full of scouts and everybody analyzing players, and they make decisions that this guy is not going to be a high round draft pick. There's a reason. And I also think he didn't handle himself well. You know, they're thinking that he's going to ride that name and be a top pick,
Yep.
and I thought he would go a little bit higher than the 5th round, but he's playing for the Browns. The Browns are quarterback carousel. They continue to ruin quarterback careers, and it's just a joke to me what the Browns are when it comes to how they have had, I don't know how many quarterbacks, but more quarterbacks than any other football team, probably from Pop Warner all the way through the NFL. But yeah, we'll see. But I haven't seen anything. He wasn't really prepared coming in this last game when he came in. But it'll be interesting to see after he's had a week's worth of work at the starting position if anything changes. But it's still the Browns. I mean,
right. Well, the most positive thing about the Browns is their defense, right? Their defense is pretty damn good.
But he can't throw to the defense. Well, he can, and he may.
Oh,
no, my
Damo better than Cam Ward,
Ouch.
bruh. I love you, but no, I love you. If you put Shador on the Titans, it'd be worse right now. I know you think we hate Shador Sanders. I really don't. I actually wish him all the best. And I just wish he wouldn't have got drafted by Cleveland. You know, I do think, you know, Kenny, you mentioned ultimately, you know, he went to Cleveland, quarterback killers franchise. You know, if you put Shador with, you know, Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, I think he'd have a really good shot at being successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do. I think systems make quarterbacks. Damo, I get you that, but when your first team is basically a Division II football team, it's not going to help. The worst thing the Titans did in the offseason was get rid of Mike Vrabel, by the way. How about the job he's done in Patriots land, right?
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as trading Pickens to the Cowboys from the Steelers.
Or Micah to the Packers. Oh, wait. I just bring
Why you gotta go there?
All right. Well, let's talk about Pickens to the Cowboys. The Cowboys versus the Raiders. Big performance there. The Cowboys get a bunch of their defensive players back. 6 starters back, and adding 2 new starters as well. So, you know, the Cowboys did what they were supposed to do against an inferior opponent, right? The Raiders are not good. So any assessment preseason that they were going to compete in that division was I would put that on a football folly reel right now. If you believed in the Raiders, I just thought they were a little ways away. You know, Geno, you know, he had some good years in Seattle. I think he's a great dude. By the way, I love what Dak did after the game. Geno was on the bench with like a towel over his head, and he went over and found him. And
well, now you just making the most of your moment. That's what I have.
Well, Damian, we just started talking about the Cowboys. What are you talking about? We barely just started. I mean, in 10, 15 minutes, we got college football, and I know you're going to want us to talk about your Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I'm going to be coming up with A&M again because me and Daniel got into it on Facebook a little bit. He's saying that they should be ranked lower. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. So Cowboys did what they did. You know, and Kenny, you already mentioned you like what they're doing, and they could be a dark horse. So I like that point. Kenny, go ahead. Do you think the Cowboys got a shot this weekend against the Eagles?
Yes, I think because of the people that they got back from injury. I think with the moves that they've made on the defensive side of the ball, I think because now where is the game this weekend? Is it in Philly or is it in
Dallas?
It's in Dallas. Okay. Well, I think that this could be a good opportunity for Dallas to really show out of to see what Jerry Jones did for that team. I think that if they could win this game against Philly, I think that it'll give Dallas a lot of momentum because I really think that Philly's beatable. And, if they can get some pressure and keep the Philly receivers frustrated, because it's clearly, as we talked a little bit earlier, Philly's been very, very inconsistent, and I think that Dallas plays better at home, at least from what I've seen. But I think as well as Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are playing, I think that Dallas really has a good opportunity. You kind of like Shedeur Sanders this weekend. I think that Dallas really has a good opportunity to prove that they're not pretenders. I mean, if it was a couple weeks ago before they made all these moves, I mean, I may have had a different opinion, but I think that with the moves that they've made, I think that Dallas could be a dark horse, especially if they do beat Philly. If they beat Philly, then I think that will grab a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think trying to run up the middle with Quentin Williams, or as Jerry Jones likes to say, Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark and Oziggy Dua, which I think you're going to see a lot of 5-man fronts from the Cowboys with those 3 tackles. And I know last week it was kind of a perfect mixture of emotion, the first game after the passing of Nealon, and then obviously playing a not very good opponent in the Raiders.
Yeah.
And, so it was a good mix. So, I thought they did what they're supposed to do. This week, I do think they can beat Philly. I think they'll keep Saquon. What hurt Dallas in the first meeting was Jalen Hurts scrambling around and running around. Pops, do you think they can keep that under wraps and ultimately take down Philly?
Well, I think, the defense with Williams is totally different because you've added a piece, a player that is a Pro Bowler, and he is a difference maker. And you just saw that. Yeah, granted, they're playing the Raiders, but even Bland played much better. But I also say, and always, and everybody knows this, it's the better your pass rush is, the better it's going to make your secondary look, because they don't have to cover as long.
Well, yeah, that Bland definitely didn't look like he was guarding Marvin Harrison Jr. last week. We'll say that.
Yep.
Holy shit, he looked a lot better.
But I like how I'm behind all the comments here.
I just try to move you up. It doesn't work. Sorry.
I just think that the defense, getting Overshawn back is huge. And a lot of people are not realizing how big a pickup Logan is too. Logan in that middle is a veteran also, and can lead that be that quarterback on the field, so to speak. But our line, as far as being able to stop the run, that's been the biggest problem. And now they have those big mollies up front, and
it's one thing to get pressure on the edges of a pocket, but if you can get pressure up the middle where the quarterback can't step up, it's a whole different world. So I do. Overshown looks like he's got a lot of rust to knock off. I didn't even really know. I think he had 2 tackles, 1 for a loss on the sideline on a stretch run. So he's got to go. And I agree with Damian on Jalen is the X factor for sure. He's obviously ready for college football. Blah blah blah. How about them boys? But we just got to the Cowboys subject section. But so I think most of us can probably tell what me and the Pops are picking when we get to picks with Pops. But For the sake of our most engaged listener or watcher, I guess I should say, viewer, I guess is the right for my big brother Damien. Let's get to college football. The college football rankings. The next edition came out last night. You got, I will say it correctly because I know the old man will incorrectly say it. The Ohio State is ranked number 1 as they have been all year, and I think rightfully so, followed by Indiana. And our Aggies at number 3, followed by your Georgia or your hated Georgia. Do you like Georgia at all, or you just more like how does that work with you repping Georgia Tech right now?
I tolerate them.
Okay.
I'm not a Georgia fan, but I would tolerate them because I have a lot of friends who are Georgia fans.
So like in the college football playoff, if Georgia Tech isn't there, is it like I root for Georgia because it's the state of Georgia?
No, I will not. I will not root for Georgia.
Same way it is with Texas.
Okay, fair enough. So we got Georgia at 4, we got Texas Tech at 5, Ole Miss at 6. Maybe they'll be coachless here soon at Ole Miss. Oregon at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Notre Dame at 9, Alabama at 10, BYU at 11, and Utah at 12. And at 16, at 9-1, is your Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. How you feeling about that 16th rank? You got 4 teams in front of you with 2 losses. What is that travesty? Are you pissed off about that, Kenny?
I am not very happy. I don't get mad about a lot of things. I'm a pretty even keel guy. But when I saw Notre Dame and I saw Miami in front, the fact that Notre Dame, who doesn't play in the conference, you get to play basically just whoever you want. So, it's like, okay, well, I can lose the first couple of games of the season, and then I can play a bunch of nobodies. And then, hey, look at this. I'm in the top 10. And to me, Miami is probably not even going to play in the ACC championship just based on their conference schedule. They started out strong, but as Georgia fans know, he's fallen off the wagon. Through 4 picks, and they're a good, not great team. To me, they're pretenders, and those are probably the 2 that I am very frustrated. Vandy, I can be okay with that, but the 2 that really frustrated me were Notre Dame and Miami, because Georgia Tech is basically playing this weekend for a spot in the ACC championship game this weekend against Pitt. And I told somebody today, sorry, I'm not trying to go over, but Georgia Tech, in my opinion, is going to have to beat Pitt. They're going to have to beat Georgia. And I think that they're going to have to win the ACC championship in order for them to get respect and to make it into the playoff. As much as I love Tech, it's going to take all 3 of those things because of how the standings are going now.
Yeah, they're going to have to win out. And here's I'm going to disagree with you a little on Notre Dame. We talked about this a little last week. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame's 2 losses is one's to A&M.
Yeah.
And one's to Miami. So they started the year with those 2 teams. So if you're going to have a 2-loss team up there, I think they're in that conversation.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I got to throw this at you. Georgia Tech really hasn't beat anybody.
I know. I love Georgia Tech, but like I said, I'm a realist too. Their schedule's been very weak. But you still have to beat the teams that are in front of you. And they've still been able to do that. But because of their weak schedule and because of how the playoff system is now, to me, it doesn't to me, I was talking to somebody today about this. It doesn't give the conference championships don't mean as much unless you're in the SEC.
Right. And I agree with you. If they win out, that'll say something. That obviously Pitt just lost this pad. They were ranked. They're not ranked anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And no, they're not ranked.
No, they're not.
And then you have Georgia, and the Georgia one would be the big test. If they can beat Georgia, and then win their the ACC championship, I think they get their spot. They're right there. They're on the precipice. I think they would jump Vanderbilt, and to me, SC is a little more questionable than some of those. Pops, you were talking. You and Damian were going at this with the ranking of Texas A&M. What was he saying, and what were you going back at him with? He doesn't think A&M should be 3.
Well, he's saying because we came back and beat South Carolina, which, let me remind Damon, that is a rivalry with us. We've been playing them for a long time, that they should have been ranked lower. Well, I beg to differ, because you want to say Ohio State stays at number 1. You barely beat Texas this year. You beat them by 1 touchdown. And look at Texas. Texas is not a very good team. They're 7-3. To me, they're the only reason they're ranked is because of their name and who's quarterbacking them. But they should be out of the rankings as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I'm a homer. I don't like the Longhorns. I think they get, they came into this year, they're going to have the Heisman winner. They're going to be run the table. Yeah, well, they got run out. And he's not even a sniff on the Heisman thing. But the fact that Texas A&M were down by 27 points at halftime, rallied and came back and won that game, it shows that is a team that deserves to be up there. So as far as them falling down, who you going to put them behind? Georgia? Georgia's lost the game. Who you going to put them behind? Texas Tech. They've lost the game. In fact, the game they lost, they got their ass beat. Ole Miss has lost the game. Oregon has lost the game. Oklahoma, Notre Dame have lost 2. Where are you going to move them back to? Number 3 is where they should be. And personally, I think they should be ahead of Indiana after that win last week. And then, like I said, you guys barely beat Texas. So, yeah, the Ohio State, big 0 in the middle of their football field. And he's saying, you don't want that matchup with A&M. Yes, I do want that matchup. Bring it on. We are ready for you.
I like it. This is what I'll say. Preseason rankings, the first week of none of them really ultimately, if a team falls off the cliff, then it's a bad loss. Or it could be a negative win later on. So I'll let you go through his comments, Pops, but this was his long one that you were just kind of talking about. Almost takes up your entire face over there. But I'll let you read it on the side. But that's why they look at strength of schedule. And, if something happens, we play Texas at the last game of the year before the SEC championship game. I think that'll tell you a lot. I think Arch is playing much better than he was at the beginning of the year. He's starting to figure it a little out. I'm not saying he's playing great by any means. But if you go through
Damo brought up that we played Texas at Texas. Well, that's where we're playing too.
That's why I just went through that whole monologue. That's why I just said you can.
I just want to emphasize to Damo, we are going to play them in Austin.
Yeah. So what I want to say here is if you go through Ohio State's schedule, though, it's not that impressive. You do have the win against Texas, and then you Grambling State, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, who has fallen way off. By that time, they had fired their coach. Purdue, who they bludgeon every year, and UCLA, who fired their coach, and they're a mess, and they didn't have their starting quarterback. Now they got Rutgers and then Michigan. So, and you never know with the Michigan they're playing in Michigan. I expect Ohio State to win out and be undefeated. So, when you start breaking down, and I can be objective to this, Damian, all right, is the wins aren't that impressive. The strength of schedule is not there at the top of the. Texas A&M has the strongest strength of schedule in the country. So overall for the year, so that part of it's impressive, and I don't know who y'all are going to end up seeing in the Big Ten, but Ohio State's going to finish the year undefeated. It'll all come out and happen in the playoffs, and that's what we want to see. You know, I don't really have a qualm. I don't have an argument saying they shouldn't be number one. I never said that. So don't even, you can say blah, blah, blah all you want over here. Okay. But I'm giving Ohio State the respect they've earned and deserved as a program. But when you just look at it a little bit objectively, which I know I lived in Columbus for 5 years, and you know I did, Damian, y'all have a hard time being objective in Buckeye Nation. Just like that team up north above y'all that y'all won't even say. Okay. They have a hard time being objective about themselves and y'all. So you ran through it. I don't disagree. But A&M wasn't in the playoff last year. So I'll just say that. But all right. I think generally the rankings, and Kenny, you can comment on this. I think generally the rankings are pretty spot on right now.
Yeah.
Versus the teams across the land. There is one team that has the potential to make the college football playoff, and that is the University of North Texas. Them and James Madison.
Mean Green.
Yep, the Mean Green. They take one of the top ranked team of the six, the outside the Power Five.
Yeah.
And so the Mean Green of North Texas or the James Madison, I think that's going to be interesting. Do you think any of those teams? First off, do you have any issue with the rankings other than Georgia Tech? We already talked about that.
No, I've been and I'm not saying this because I'm on here with you guys. On our podcast, I have been a huge fan of what Texas A&M has done this year. I love what they're doing. I love their coach. I love everything about them. I agree with the opinion of Texas. I think they're a good, not great team. I think the thing that killed one team was Alabama, even though they could still, if they went out, they could play for the SEC championship. And I think that you have a possibility. I don't know how this will play out, but you could have a Bama and Texas A&M championship game, and then you might have Georgia up there in the top four, just because of their win over Bama. But overall, I can't disagree with the rankings much at all.
I got you. So Damian, I don't disagree with you that North Texas just be taking up a spot, but I have to mention the Mean Green. It's the first time they've been ranked since like 1958 or 1959. Yeah. It's just really cool for the North Texas area. They're not a power school. And one of the guys I worked with at Hurst Junior High, Casey Schutza is actually his name, is a former wide receiver for them now. Founded his own church up in Salina. Doing big things up there. So I kind of, I secretly, they're doing well. I'm happy for them. I'm not like go Mean Green, but I agree. Whatever team North Texas comes up against in the Power Five is probably not going to be pretty. All right. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for Kenny. So Kenny, first off, we thank you for taking the time to come on the show. Go ahead and let the people know remind them of your podcast and where they can find you and where they can follow you.
We have a podcast on Thursdays and Fridays. It is In the Locker Room. podcast. It's on mainly on Spotify and Apple, and about like anywhere that you can find a podcast. And we have some college talk on Thursday with my co-host Mojo and Darren to give them a shout out. And then I do like a grab bag on Friday, whether it's the Falcons, my frustration, whatever, just what I'm feeling. But please follow us. We're on Instagram at In the Locker Room 10. The same with TikTok, In the Locker Room 10, and on Twitter it's just In the Locker Room. And on with TikTok, I go live for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, just talking about the people, about whether it's Falcons, the NFL, fantasy football, with college football, just whatever. But yeah, In the Locker Room podcast. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I do appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we
do, man.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. It definitely won't be the last time. And
you got it.
If you ever need some Texas boys to come on the Atlanta show with you, feel free to reach out, and
got it. Thank you guys.
We're available. We'll definitely be on there. So In the Locker Room, check them out. Good stuff, especially if you're on the East Coast and want to hear a little bit about those Falcons. So, Kenny, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time, brother.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir.
All right. I guess this would be a good time to hear our second word from easyleadership.com.
Attention leaders planning your 2025 leadership retreat. Are you about to throw $30,000 to $40,000 out the door on flashy speakers and trendy activities that lose impact in 2 months? Don't waste your budget on short-lived inspiration. Partner with Easy Leadership and harness the disc work of leaders to gain real data insights into your company's real-world issues. We'll uncover your team's strengths and tackle critical challenges in vision, alignment, and execution, creating a strategic action plan that drives lasting, measurable results. Act now. Contact Easy Leadership at easyleadership.com to invest in leadership that transforms your organization for the long haul.
Yeah, most definitely. Most organizations, by the time they hit January after a leadership retreat in November, have forgotten what they learned. We'll make sure you have a strategic plan going forward. easyleadership.com. Call it. It's free.
There you go. All right. I want to talk about this last one that Damien commented on. Some pretty tough state troopers. What'd you think of the bumping incident in the tunnel there, my man?
I don't get people sometimes. I mean, here you are, and I'm talking the trooper, and I have the utmost respect for him, for our highway patrolmen and law enforcement. I work with them every single day now, but there comes a point when you need to put your ego in check and your emotions in check. You know, you're walking through a tunnel and you're bumping into guys who are playing a game. They are not focused on the people around them. I mean, and the one player from South Carolina was trying to get out of his way. But the fact is, he also needs to realize there's cameras everywhere. So if you act like an ass, it's probably going to be caught on camera. And quite frankly, you know, with all due respect to the highway patrol and all law enforcement officers, he just acted like an ass. You know, it's just ridiculous. I don't think it's assault. I think it's more of a kind of like that one kid walking through his little bodyguard or whatever. He could have tried to get out the way, but he.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna put any blame on the players here. The trooper was out of line. I don't know about assault, and they're not kids. They're grown adults making more money than all of us, pretty much. They're above 18. They could be in the military, ready to die for us if you wanted, if they so inclined to choose. They're not kids. They're young adults with a lot to learn in life. But the trooper is out of line. He was removed from his post, and he should never work a game ever again. And that's it. So I don't agree with what he did, and I'm sure people were calling for his badge and going all that route. So
it was just,
I don't know what I'm not as outraged as you are on it. They bumped into each other, and then he turned and yelled at him. Like, I don't, sorry, my man. I can't jump off the deep end with that.
It was immaturity by the trooper.
Yeah, it was. And he was, they removed him, and as he should be. And I know he won't be working any more games, as he should be. And, send him on his way. You know what I mean? So, and he'll have more repercussions, I'm sure. He's got some personal embarrassment going on, I would imagine.
Well, he's very famous now, unfortunately, in a very bad light. So I always take that into account. A person has a moment of sheer stupidity, and it's there for the whole world to see now. So he's going to suffer repercussions for a long, long time because he is very well known.
Well,
I agree. He did. It was an ego thing. It was, I'm a trooper. Get the hell out of my way. Guys are playing a football game. You can't expect them to be in the moment of like just walking down a hallway.
No one is condoning on this show what he did was cool. No, he should have been removed. He was, and bye. Like I'm not like, you can have the opinion you think is a.
Namo does said he thinks because he thought y'all were going to lose. He doesn't necessarily a Texas A&M fan just because he's a trooper. They actually may be more Longhorn fans than they are A&M.
So, but he shouldn't be fired. Okay, well, he should be fired from working games. I think that is true. I think as a state trooper, he should probably be put on desk duty and maybe have to do a little. Maybe
he's going to have to. He's
gonna have to figure out something.
Law enforcement, they're put through to always behave like you're on camera because, quite frankly, they are now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You
So
have to control your emotions.
Yeah, it was a terrible look, and it was embarrassment to state troopers across the state, and I would say police everywhere. And I'm sure. So you're right. He definitely wasn't a South Carolina. That's for sure.
But he might be mad because the Aggies are really good and the Longhorns suck. You never know because
I don't know. Maybe he found out his wife was cheating on Halloween night, and he's taking it out on the South Carolina.
Now we're going down a road we don't need to go.
But stuff happens in life. He might be upset. Found out I don't know. Maybe his dog died. Who knows?
You don't want to mess with a person's dog. Just watch John Wick.
Yeah. Well. All right. Well, let's go ahead, and if you give me 1 second while you entertain the folks, I'm going to bring up Picks with Pops. Not a very good week for you last week, sir. You went 1. You won 1, or maybe 2. I think it was 2.
It was terrible. It was terrible. So you have a problem finding it. Okay.
Oh, Damien, I know you're very pro law enforcement, and we love you. So, some of my favorite stories. Matter of fact, my favorite word is from your time working in the prisons, with the youth prison. The word defenestrated. If you don't know what that word is or means, please look it up. It is a classic. And if you ever get to meet Damien, ask him to tell that story of defenestrating a child. So, all right. So, yes, last week, the old man went 2-5, lost your lead in the standings.
I'm only down by 2.
Well, I went 6-1 last week, so very good week for me.
You picked a lot of easy ones.
Well, I mean, they're on the screen. I don't know if they were all easy, but some of them definitely were. We both took the Cowboys over the Raiders. I didn't think this one was easy, the Commanders and Dolphins. Dolphins have been a mess all year, so they ended up winning. We both picked Green Bay over the New York Giants. You took Tennessee. I took Houston. That was a coin flip. You took the Chargers, which if I was picking that game, I'll be honest with you, I would have taken the Chargers too. So the Chargers always scare me when I'm picking games. Then you took the Bucks foolishly this is the only reason I say foolishly. Like before you get on a old Josh Allen love, they were playing in Buffalo, but the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo are almost impossible to beat. So that's why I say that was a little bit foolish with Tampa Bay being as injured as they are. I did take the Ravens over the Browns, but that was a close game. Like the Ravens barely got out of that one. And then I took Patriots over the Jets. Any team.
That's an easy game.
That was an easy game. And the Jets lose every time except when you pick them. So,
yeah, I probably need to pick them more and help their season. But.
Yeah. So we got a new week, picks with Pops, only 2 NFC East games. So a lot of wild card games this week. And we always pick the Texans. So, and if you're watching, feel free to comment your picks. If you would like, we'll throw them up on the screen. Also, don't forget to try to guess what's in the cancer. If you pick the correct whiskey that's in this cancer, DM me, or I'll let you know if you picked the right one. DM me, and I will personally send you a bottle of that whiskey. So, or at least a gift card to get you a bottle of that whiskey from Specs or your favorite liquor store. All right. We're starting off with the Giants at Detroit. I am taking Detroit. Who are you going with?
Of course, it's Detroit.
All right. I already wrote down Detroit for you, so I figured. All right. We got Eagles coming to the Death Star, playing the Cowboys. We both said this is a gettable game. Are you sticking with that prediction, or are you going with the Eagles?
No, I'm sticking with that. I think the Cowboys defense is so much better. It's ridiculous with these new players and players getting back from injury, because we didn't even mention Wilson coming, or not Wilson, but Hooker coming back was a big deal too.
Yeah, well, Hooker is he's playing more like he did last year versus he didn't look good at the beginning of the year. I'm going to take Dallas too, because I think Dallas at home with our offense and the improved defense. I think our defense, the way the Eagles offense has been playing, I think our defense can hold them to in the teens, maybe around 21. And if that's the case, I think Dallas can score enough to win that game. So I am going Dallas there. All right, so now we're on our wild card. So we have not talked about these. We may or may not pick.
Well, you didn't talk about games. The Texans Bills.
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get to that one. When we get to the wild card games after the Texans Bills, we haven't talked about those. We may end up picking the same ones, but we like to keep it a little bit of mystery. Bills in Houston this upcoming weekend. You know where I'm going. I'm going Bills.
Well, unfortunately, I have to go Bills too. I don't think that.
You're just trying to piss off your wife.
No, I'm not. They don't have their quarterback. They just they're gonna. I mean, the Texans defense is good enough to hold the Bills to fewer points, but the Texans just can't score.
All right, Damien's taking he's taking Detroit, the Eagles, and the Bills as well. All right, so now we're in the wild card games. This is not a gimme game. I got the Colts going to the Chiefs. I am picking the upset. I'm going Colts.
You say that's an upset? I don't know if that's an upset.
The Chiefs at home.
Well, I'm still picking the Colts myself.
And Kenny is picking the Bills as well. He just commented. Are you picking that game?
Yeah, that's one
Oh,
of
who'd you
mine.
pick?
The Colts.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was reading. Um, so Damien is going with the Chiefs. Kenny is going Colts all day. So Damien may be the winner there. Beat us all. All right. What's your next give me your next wild card game you're picking.
I'm going to go with the Seahawks and Titans, taking the Seahawks.
Okay, I have that one written down as well. I'm going with the Seahawks too. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a bounce back game this upcoming week. So we're on the same page there. My next one, I got the absolute shit show bowl. The Browns and Raiders. Shador Sanders, I think he gets his first win as a quarterback in the NFL, mainly because of the defense. So I am picking the Browns. Damien says Seahawks as well. Kenny says Seahawks as well. So matter of fact, I can actually just put this on the side now that you're not over there. So there we go. Damien says tie between the shit bowl. So that's I wouldn't be surprised, like 5-5 or something. Kenny says 10-6 Browns. Barn burner of a game. What's your next? Are you picking that game or you got a different one?
I got a different one.
All right, go ahead. Hit the people.
The Steelers are headed to Chicago. The Bears are going to win that game.
You got Steelers over Chicago?
No, Bears over Chicago.
Oh, Bears over Chicago.
I mean,
okay.
you're messing me all up. Bears over the Steelers.
I got
Bears
you.
win the game.
Bears win the game. Got you. Yeah, they're saying Aaron Rodgers may play. He did have a small broken bone in his left wrist. So if he does play, I like the Steelers' chances. They're playing well. They put up 34 last week. So
did I say thank you for that pick and straight? Let me just say it again.
Yeah. Thank you again. I still would. I don't know. I'd still rather have DK Metcalf, but overall. But Damien and Kenny are both taking the Steelers on that one. That is not one of my last wild card game is the Patriots on the road at Cincinnati. Damien, I'm sorry. I got to pick against the Houday Nation. I'm going Patriots.
And do I need one more?
You need one more.
Then I am taking the Packers to kind of bounce back a little bit against the Vikings because the Vikings obviously have a quarterback issue right now. So Packers beat Green Bay beat the Vikings.
Is JJ McCarthy not playing for the Vikings?
He's playing. He's just not doing very well.
All right. So you got Packers over the Vikings. All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is picks with pops. Damien and Kenny say also the Patriots, and Damien agrees with you on the Packers. And if I was picking that game, I damn sure would pick the Packers as well. So overall, the fans are not much different than us today. So I think only one disagreement on those, pretty much. So that is picks with pops. If you're watching and you have a company, you could be sponsoring it. It could be Picks with Pops, brought to you by so-and-so whiskey or so-and-so bourbon. But we're not there yet. So let's go there. All right. What do we got next? Do we got another commercial?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do it? I mean, we're up against it. We're at an hour.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
Say what?
We don't have to.
Okay, well, let's go straight to making the most of your moment. The old man's favorite and most important segment of the night. He always finds someone within the sports world doing something good and positive. And what do you got tonight?
Well, you already mentioned it before. This isn't a video or anything, but for as much as Dak takes heat for being the Cowboys quarterback, which is going to happen. What he did first off, the week, him and Solomon Thomas, they obviously lost some family members to suicide, but they were the talk this week where they were the leaders in the locker room to help them get through all this with Nealon passing away. But after the game, Geno Smith was over on the side of his sideline with his head in his hands and was just totally distraught because he was, obviously they got beat really bad and things haven't been going well. Well, Dak made his way over there and just gave him a hug and tried to lift him up, and it just shows, it's like what Geno Smith said, I never thought an opponent would treat me like that. Dak is a better person than what people see on TV. He's not just an outstanding quarterback, he's an incredible human being. That moment, it meant more to me than he'll ever know. It just goes to show you that's making the most of giving of yourself to someone who's basically your opponent. You just played for an hour to beat the guy, but it shows Dak's character. And this is one of the reasons I love him, because even when he's up and down as a quarterback from time to time, the one thing you can never question is Dak's character. So to me, he made the most of the moment of lifting someone else up, even though Dak and his team have been through quite a bit this week. So,
yeah, I came across this earlier today. Oh, you didn't have to take it off, but it's all good. Don't worry about it. I loved it. Dak is a former Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, which is no easy feat. I think that speaks to the type of individual he is. I know he runs a foundation for suicide prevention. It takes a certain type of person to handle being in the position he's in. And Cowboys quarterback and Yankees shortstop are kind of the two of the highest profile positions in sports, and how he's handled it since his rookie year, taking over for Tony Romo. It really hasn't been anything but class. You can criticize his play if you would like, but he's, you heard when he was coming out of Mississippi State, his leadership, and I'll say people who have left the Cowboys all have said the men in that locker room play for Dak and want to win for Dak. And you don't get to that level, you don't get to that treatment by your teammates and that love and admiration if you're not, one, a hard worker, two, a good person that leads in multiple ways and affects your team in multiple positive ways. And so that doesn't mean you don't, get on some people's butts and things like that. I mean, he does that, but he's positive with it. I've seen the highlights of him on the sideline. Yeah, that example of him going over to Geno is absolutely incredible, and that's what sports should be about. When I was coaching basketball, I've always lived by the moniker of winning with class and losing with class, and so I've always had an issue with coaches who ignore that fact, or players who don't understand that. And, too many people a lot of times like to, show up their opponent in a negative way. And man, Dak Prescott doing that, goes higher up on my list of much respect for him. So good making the most of your moment. I like that. Very, very good. Very good pick this week. And once again, if you're, I know we're a few weeks and we talked about this last week, but if you are struggling with any type of, mental health issues, 988, you can dial that and get some help, because we never know. We never know who it is and who struggles. And, in the veteran community, I talked about this last week. It's not 22 anymore. It's 44 a day we lose. So if you're a vet watching this, know it's the greatest act of strength to reach out, and you are worth it. And, unfortunately, when I put 1,100 brothers and sisters in the ground when I was on the honor guard. So, and one is too many. One's a tragedy. So we want you here. All right, our tidbits, our home stretch, our fan favorite segment, I guess. I don't know. You got any tidbits? Any wrap it up moments? Any final thoughts before we get to the whiskey of the week?
Not really any tidbits. I do think what a lot of folks don't realize on the reason I keep bringing up Pickens is right now second in the league in yards receiving. But I think Dallas, and I text you during the game, I'm like, they need to re-sign him. Please do not make this, Jerry, please do not make this into this crap that we went through with Micah again, because Pickens right now is, are we going to say he's better than CD?
No.
Okay, you're saying he's not.
No,
He's getting pretty close to being as good. He now he has better stats.
I don't care. Well, CD was out most of the year, so or a big chunk of the year. That's a kind of a debate for a different day. But here's my small take on that: CD Lamb is a better overall receiver than Pickens. Pickens may have more natural talent than CD Lamb. He may be more gifted, but he's not a better fundamental route runner receiver that CD Lamb is. CD Lamb can do it all, in my opinion, at a very high level. Right now, I just don't. I don't think he's. If you told me I got to pick one of the two, I'm picking CD Lamb every day of the week. So, anyways, continue.
Well, that was really the only tidbit. I'm watching Houston right now. Houston playing Cleveland, the Cavaliers. We didn't talk NBA tonight, and they were.
Oh yeah, we kind of skipped over the Stars too, but
yeah, they were up by 21 points, and they have let Cleveland come back. It is now with 36 seconds. It looks like Houston's going to pull it out. It's 109 to 101. So, but
yeah, I've dialed back the Houston segment since I'm not trying to get a job at AM 610 Sports Radio anymore. So that's just me being honest. Damien's the Buckeyes will destroy A&M, and my Cincy quarterback is brittle. Tidbit unlocked. Shout out there. Kenny says go Atlanta Hawks. So appreciate y'all chiming in all night. That's what makes this fun and a little more entertaining for everyone involved. My tidbits is Ole Miss. I'm wondering if they're going to lose their coach in Lane Kiffin. Rumors Florida or LSU. If I was picking between those two, I'd go to Florida. But he's kind of mum on it and said there was no deadline. I don't know. I just feel like that situation may start to get messy, and he may end up leaving just because of the situation. And I love what he's built there. Honestly, like I would stay at Ole Miss. You're competing for championships now, and they have one of the best uniforms in college football. So you mentioned the Pickens contract. I know you want him to sign now. I don't necessarily really ever think it's a good thing to negotiate contracts during the season. I was listening to the radio, one of the sports radio stations up in Dallas-Fort Worth. They talked about this very thing. And is Calvin Watkins, who writes, is a beat writer for the Cowboys, said the plan is to wait till after the season to do that, to look at that contract. I think CD may restructure his, Dak may restructure his to keep Pickens. But this moment right now, they have $21 million in cap space. You do have 3 defensive tackles making over $20 million a year. So, we'll see. So I do think it's not a good practice just to negotiate contracts during the season. I think it's a distraction for the player, and you want them fully focused, unless they're not there, right? They're not there. So, that's kind of my wrap up. The whiskey of the week. No one tried to guess it, so I'm safe. I'm not out any money, so no reason to tell you what's in there. Just know it is delicious. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. That's all I'll say. But yeah, we'll we'll be back next week, of course, Wednesday, 7 p.m. live. And so, yeah, we appreciate y'all watching, listening. Make sure you follow us, like us, comment, all that good stuff on Facebook. You can find us under Tired Sports Network. You can also find us, On Time Sports Talk on Facebook, YouTube. Find me at X at Coach Schedule. The old man is at Easy Eddie. And find me on TikTok at Coach Schedule as well. So, and shout out to the TikTok folks watching that I'm streaming live on. So yeah, share, like us, follow. Also, appreciate that, Kenny. Check out our other shows on our network on Tired Sports Network. The Philly, our Philly show, Sorry in Advance. Now they're heavy baseball, but they're coming back. They've been putting out. They started up again. The Crew, I love the Crew as well. Our Denver show, they're pretty funny, and our wrestling show, Saturday Smack Talk. So, so we're moving forward with those four, and check them out. And look for us as guests on those, and they'll be on ours as well. So, Damien, appreciate the compliment. We try to put a good product out there, and maybe next week, maybe we'll hear from Jerry. He'll have 2 weeks with his newly traded players. He was smiling heavy in that chair when Quentin Williams got the sack, as he likes to say, not Quentin.
Yes, he was. It was
What'd you say?
Trade. It was a good trade. I think. Micah who?
Well, you're actually saying his name right. I thought Jerry said Michael Parsons, but yeah. So Kenny, we love you watching. We'll definitely have you on again here soon. But yeah, we'll talk to Jerry, JJ, and if we got time, maybe a check-in with the old Coach J Kidd, since see how he's feeling about Nico Harrison being fired and the Mavericks not doing too hot. We didn't talk much about any basketball tonight other than your little Hot Rockets. And also the Stars. We skipped over our Stars segment. We ran a little long tonight. So, folks, we appreciate it. We love y'all. Peace. We're getting out of here.
Bye.